Hey guys, welcome to my second Riffs and Responses video. And for this video, Skeeter is going to be reading all the comments.
Oh, you want me to read all your damn comments? Maybe you're just too lazy to read them yourself. Or maybe you just can't read. Alright, I'll read them for you. You got till I finish this here beer, and after that I'm out of here. Now I already had 6 beers today. On top of that, I had a sip of Grandpa's Sip and Shine. So you better watch it. I'm feeling sassy. Alright, let's get started. See what we got here. Ooh, that's tasty. This one here is from Gone Guitar Music. And he says, how do you make more views on YouTube? Clickbait and misinformation. Oh man, I got something to say about this right here.
But I'm the one that's supposed to be doing the responses.
No, don't you start interjecting. I'm feeling sassy. I'm gonna handle this one for you. Alright? Because I'm getting darn sick and tired of this stuff here.
Alright man, but take it easy. Don't get too out of hand here.
Now, I got this. Why don't you go play your little guitar or something like that? You obviously need to practice. Have you seen your last few live streams? Man, you've been messing up left and right. Yeah, you and your, oh, look at me, I can shred. Yeah, whatever. Go play. Go practice. Do something. I got this. Well, Gone Guitar Music, let me tell you something right now. He wasn't doing no clickbait and hyperbolic things. If you look at the thumbnail, what do you see after it says Quad Cortex Flop? That symbol right there, what is that? That's what we call a question mark. Inferring we are asking a question. Now, if he wanted clickbait, he'd put an exclamation point after it saying Quad Cortex Flop, you know, like he's making a statement or something. Or he could have used this here symbol. That there's a period. And I know you know what that is, 'cause you're on yours, and you're acting like a little bitch. Thing is, he wasn't being hyperbolic or doing any kind of clickbait. He was sharing his true feelings and concerns about the Quad Cortex because every week he gets tons of questions about that damn little box. Let me tell you something. If you're offended because somebody's got some constructive criticism about your little shiny box with blinky lights on it, you need to man up a little bit. Have yourself a beer and calm down. It's just an opinion. So hopefully someday we can have ourselves a beer together, sit by the campfire, and tell stories or something like that and be friends. Until then, let's not get our panties in a wad about some opinions about our little toys we like to play with, alright? Next question. Now this here next comment is from Bruce Sokolovic. Hi Bruce, how you doing, man? Good to see you here. I like that name. It's a manly name. I bet you can throw a bale of hay a mile. Shit. Anyway, and Bruce also commented on your quad Cortex flop with the question mark video. And this is what Bruce wrote here. He says, so glad someone is saying this about this particular product. Does it have promise? Sure. But they want the money for it today. Also, the targeted "this is an awesome product" YouTube channels, for me at least, make me want to look past this product. I understand where you're coming from, Bruce. Once I see 5 or 6 channels with the same piece of gear from the usual suspects, I can almost script how the video will go without even watching it.
Hey Bruce, thanks for commenting. It's good to hear from you. And you know what? I agree with you. The thing is, the Quad Cortex has a lot of potential, and I think it's going to be a great product someday, or at least I hope it will, for the sake of the company and for the people that bought it. But right now, it's just lacking so many things, and I think for the price, you're better off spending your money elsewhere. There are a lot of products out there that are close to the same price as the Quad Cortex. Some of them are even cheaper than it, and they're a lot further developed. And I just think you're better off spending your money on those products for now. You're going to have way more effects in these other products, a lot further development, and more options and features, and a lot of promises that are already kept in the product, as opposed to promises that you'll have to wait for. And for other people who are watching this video, let me just give you a quick scenario. I mean, you have a chicken and an egg, both at the same price. Which one are you going to buy? I'll take the more developed product for the same price every time. Some people want to be part of the journey and enjoy that, and to them I say, hey, good for you. I hope you enjoy the journey. But for me, I mean, I'm on a musical journey, and I don't want to wait for products to catch up to where I'm at musically. I want products that are going to support where I'm at and go further with me, and I don't have to stop and wait for them. And regarding the whole usual suspects on YouTube pretty much saying the same thing about all the new products that come out, I agree with you 100%. It seems like these days YouTube has turned into QVC for a lot of new gear. Now obviously I don't have a problem with people doing demos on YouTube. I do demos on YouTube. But there's this lack of objectivity there. Everybody's afraid to say anything negative or even constructive criticism about products that are out there because they're afraid people are going to come after them and say, oh, I can't believe you said that. And maybe the people that are being paid by these companies to do the demos and reviews are afraid of these companies getting angry with them and not wanting to do business with them in the future. And I understand that, but I think there should be some room for some objectivity and some constructive criticism where needed and warranted in these reviews. Because the thing is the way I look at it, if you lose your credibility on YouTube because you're always just saying nice things about everything, then you pretty much lost your channel and your value to the viewer and the companies that are paying you for these reviews. Earning the trust of the viewers is #1 for me, and if companies send me a product for a review, I will 100% be honest about it to the viewer and to the company. Now, as an aside, if I get a product from a company and I notice some really bad things about it, I will always give the company a chance to address those things before I bring that stuff public. I'll always come to the company first privately and say, hey, I noticed this, this, and this about the product. Have those issues been brought to your attention yet by your own team or other reviewers? And a lot of times those companies will be grateful that I came to them privately about these things, and they're happy to address these things before the product becomes available to consumers. But if the company kind of doubles down on it and says, you know what, we're not worried about this stuff, those aren't issues as far as we're concerned, but if you want to bring that up to the public, that's perfectly fine with us. I'll totally bring it up to the public. I'll do it in a professional, polite way, but I just want people to know that this might be an issue for you. And maybe sometimes with these companies, they've done the research and they know that you can't please everybody, right? So they're just going to make a product that they feel is good, and there's always going to be people on either side of some of these issues. Some people, it's going to be a deal breaker for them, and other people are going to be like, you know what, I don't really use those features anyway, so I'm okay with that. And to me, as long as you're aware of all of these things before you spend your hard-earned money on a product, then I feel like I've done my job. And I will always try to be as objective and fair and honest with you as I can. Because once again, if I lose my credibility with you, then you have no reason to ever come back here and trust me with anything that I have to say about products that are being released. And conversely, I don't just bash things for the sake of doing it. Anybody who has watched this channel enough knows that I don't do that. Anytime I give any kind of criticism about a product, I will do it because it needs to be said, and I try to be as honest and professional about it as I can. Sometimes I get a little hyperbolic about things, but you know what? If I do, it's because I'm passionate about it, and I think these companies know better, and they should have fixed this stuff before they released it to the public. So to sum up, yes, spend your money on something that's more developed and suits your taste and needs better. And I really hope that gear reviewers on YouTube will stop being so QVC oriented and not be afraid to be more objective about the products that they are reviewing. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of objectivity and offering some constructive criticism in some of the products that you review. I think at the end of the day, the consumer that's watching these videos is going to be grateful for the honesty from the reviewer, and the manufacturers will respect you for it.
Now this next comment is from your EVH Stealth 100 watt unboxing and first impressions video, and it's from Tech Death Hippie. Man, I think me and Tech Death Hippie went to high school together. That name sounds damn familiar. Anywho, he says, good call. I can't do 50 watters. There's definitely something missing. Plus, I play loud as... Oop, I can't say that word on this here show. This is a family show. So, let me read it again, and I'll replace that word with something I would say. Plus, I play loud as that damn rooster that wakes me up every morning at 5:30. Stupid thing. Still, so I need the clarity 100 watt gives. 50 watts gets too slushy and bouncy too quick for me. Good for lead, but not a tight, crisp rhythm.
What's up, Tech Death Hippie? Thanks for commenting. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you enjoyed the video. And I'm totally with you on this. I mean, that's why I'm kind of switching all my 50 watt amps out to 100 watts or even bigger if that's available, because I'm really finding, especially with the Stealth, that was like the perfect example of that. I really love the 50 watt Stealth. I think it's a great amp. So don't get me wrong, anybody that owns the 50 watt Stealth, you know what I'm talking about. It's a good amp. But when you compare it to the 100 watt, there's like this really nice fullness there that you don't get out of the 50 watt. When you have them side by side, you really do notice the difference. And it's just hotter sounding. There's like this really great feel and extra fullness and aggression that I'm getting out of that amplifier. And I really think that the 100 watt amps are the best way to go when it comes to the fullness of sound, the more aggression, and you're getting like everything that that amp has to offer. Now, I totally understand why people that play the 50 watts or even the mini amps do it, because they're a lot easier to carry around. So if you're gigging a lot and you know it's going to get mic'd up anyways, hey man, I totally get where you're coming from. I really do, because it's easy for me to say, oh yeah, I use 100 watts. They never leave my basement. Of course, you know, I mean, yeah, that's what works best for me. But if I was gigging a lot and I had to choose between carrying around a huge heavy amp or something that was lighter and more compact and easier to carry and put in my vehicle, I would probably be going with a 50 watt with that scenario, and I totally understand why people do that. So putting everything into context, yes, these are all studio queens and they rarely or probably never leave my house. So it's something that you got to think about. Now, on the other side of that coin though, if you are doing gigs and you really want to bring a big dog with you and have that big, fat, great sound on stage, and it's worth it to you, then definitely, by all means, get yourself a 100 watt, and it's worth the sacrifice that's associated with lugging that thing around. And there is a good payoff for that. So it really comes down to, is it worth it to you to carry that big amp around? And for a lot of us, yeah, it kind of is, because when you get on stage and you hit a big old power chord on that thing and the whole place starts shaking and you got that fullness and all that really nice texture that's not getting diluted in the room because the amp has so much of it to begin with, that's when it really pays off. So I always advise people, before you make a decision, put them side by side and you'll definitely hear and feel the difference. And then again, weigh it out. Is it worth it or is it not worth it? And you have to make that choice for yourself. I tip my hat to everybody that takes any kind of amp to a gig, especially with all the modelers and profilers that everybody's using these days. I mean, it's a lot easier to do it that way, and I totally respect the guys that do that as well, because I get it. I've done it myself, but man, I'll tell you, there's just something special about plugging into a 100-watt amp and standing across the room from it and having that thing just blow your head off, man. It's freaking amazing, and it's worth it.
Now, this next question is also from the EVH Stealth 100 unboxing and first impression video. It's from a guy called Dust Devil. Man, that's a cool name. I bet you everybody's scared of you in high school, wasn't they? Uh-oh, here comes Dust Devil. Everybody hiding their lockers. He's gonna stuff you in them anyway. Anyway, he says, "Hey, Jarrod, I'm about to purchase the Angle Savage 120 Mark II, and I have the EVH Stealth 50. Would you be doing a Savage 120 versus Stealth 100 comparison soon? Thanks." Man, you better be doing a video about that. That sounds good. I like that. That's a great idea.
Hey, Dust Devil, thanks a lot for your question. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate the suggestion as well. And hell yeah, man, I am definitely going to shoot those two out. You know, there's a lot of amps that I have in this room, and they're all great. They all have a special place in my life, you know? And I'm really grateful that I get to have all these amplifiers. Sometimes I got to pinch myself because I literally think I'm dreaming. And because of the variety of the amplifiers I have in this room, I've really gotten to know all the different idiosyncrasies and nuances and cool things that these amps do and don't do. And there are a few of them that I have that every single time I plug into them, they're just absolutely amazing. And there's just zero issues with anything that I'm feeling or hearing out of these amplifiers. And the Angle Savage is definitely one of those amps, and so is the EVH Stealth 100. I have zero problems with either one of these amps. Every time I plug into them, I don't even have to acclimate to them. They just work for me, and they're just so much fun to play. And I think that's a thing that people don't talk about enough with amplifiers, is that some of them just have this fun factor about them. You know, you just plug into them and you just got this big old smile on your face, and they just do everything you want them to do, and they do it so well, and they support your playing so much that they almost enhance it to a certain degree. You know, it's just there. Everything you want the amp to do, it just does it, and you don't have to dig in and push it and fight with it to get it to do these things. It just does it. And those two amplifiers are the first ones I will always name when people ask me which ones are the most fun to play. EVH Stealth 100, Angle Savage Mark II 120. All day long, no problems with either one of these, and I think that would be a killer shootout. So stay tuned for that. I'll be happy to do it for you. And I haven't switched between these amps at all yet, so I don't even know what to expect when I do the shootout myself. So this is going to be a really good experience for me as well.
Now, this next question is from your I respond to negative comments from a Quad Cortex video. This is from Dirt Racer X. He says, "I agree with everything you said. $18.50 for an unfinished product? No thanks. More interested in an FM9 for $250 less." Now, there's a smart feller.
Hey, Dirt Racer X, thanks for commenting. I appreciate it, and I'm glad you enjoyed the video. And you are right. I mean, why not spend less money and get way more for your money? I just think that that's the best move you can make with gear or pretty much anything else in life, right? Like I said earlier in the video, there are so many other products out there that are so much further along than the Quad Cortex, and they're either less money or the same price or maybe a little bit more, and they are just a better bang for your buck. I'll say this again, if the Quad Cortex came out with at least twice the amount of effects that it has, and at least a few of the plugins that they sell, and a really good ecosystem, and maybe, I don't know, 10 to 20 more amp models, then yeah, it would probably be worth the asking price right now, and it would be a great contender. But it seems like we're a long way off before any of that is going to happen. And keep in mind, even with all of those things in place, it would still be behind most of the other products that it competes with. But at least it would have a better standing in that race. Yeah, for sure. I think your money's better spent on an FM9 or a KEMPER stage or something like that.
Now this next tier comment is also from your I respond to negative comments about my Quad Cortex video. And this feller's name is Big Bob. Man, that name sounds familiar. We had a feller named Big Bob on our football team. Yep, that's right, he was a center. Every time he hiked that damn ball, he just mowed down the whole defensive line of the other team every time. Man, I'll tell you what, Big Bob was awesome. He was a good drinking buddy too. Man, that guy could put away a keg of beer in about an hour and a half and still walk a straight line and dance with Susie. He was something else. Anywho, I put a negative review and I think I may have been wrong. You seem like a good dude who doesn't bullcrap. I stand by my monetized comments because you went on to list the cost of all your hardware. Having said that, I just recently started watching your channel, and I don't think my point of view was warped. It just wasn't complete. So I spoke too soon about your character. You know what? That just warms my heart. You know what, Big Bob? Cheers, buddy. I like you. You're a good dude too.
Hey Big Bob, good to hear from you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being open-minded and giving me a chance and watching more of my videos so that you can get a better understanding of who I really am. You know, it's really easy for all of us to watch somebody's video for the first time and have a one-dimensional opinion about that person. But it takes a mature person to watch more of their videos and get all the different colors and facets and dimensions of those people so that we can have a better understanding of who they really are. And again, I really appreciate you spending time watching my videos and getting to know me better. And just to clarify, the reason why I brought up all of the gear and the pricing associated with that gear that's utilized to create captures for the Quad Cortex is because I wanted people to have a perspective on what it takes to create really good captures on a professional level for people to purchase for their Quad Cortex. A lot of people were talking like, yeah, I don't want to have to pay for these. And it's like, well, I understand that, but I just wanted people to have an understanding of what went into creating those captures that they didn't really feel like they should have to pay for. I'm not saying the whole community thought that way, but a lot of people did. And again, I just wanted to shine a little light on that whole aspect of creating captures for people so that they had an understanding and a more appreciation for what went into them, so they would see the value there and be okay with parting with a few dollars to get these awesome captures.
Now this next question here is from a feller named JB50Watt. He's a nice feller, by the way. He has lots of comments and questions. He's very supportive of the channel. And I'll tell you what, we really appreciate that here. Now, this is from a live stream you did a couple days ago in the live chat. Isn't that cool with all this technology and all this highfalutin stuff we use nowadays? You can just chat live and ask questions and all that. That's cool. I like that a lot. Anywho, let's read his question here. JB50Watt says, Tone Wars, what are some good alternatives for the Royer 121? I remember you said the R10. Would that work with the SM57? I have an SM57 and I'd like to get into recording guitar.
Hey Jeff, great question. And by the way, I always love seeing your comments in the live streams and on the videos. I really appreciate the support that you have for the channel. Thank you so much. My buddy Jay turned me on to the Royer R10, and I'll tell you, it's a great mic. It's a ribbon mic, and it sounds really good all by itself, and it really sounds good when you pair it with an SM57 or any other dynamic microphone. So if you have a dynamic microphone like an SM57, I would always suggest the first mic that you want to pair it with is a good ribbon mic, and the Royer R10 is definitely going to fit the bill for that because it's pretty much half the price of the Royer 121. It really captures the low end of the cab very well, and honestly, if you want to use it all by itself, it sounds great. In fact, a lot of times if I want to just get the essence of a cab, I just use the Royer R10 and just use that all by itself, and it sounds really good, and I feel like it's capturing what the cab really sounds like. And a lot of times I don't feel like I have to add another mic to it. But hey, if you want to get more dimension to your sound, I mean, definitely pair it with a good dynamic mic like the 57 or even the Audix i5. So yeah, I get it. If you don't want to spend over $1,000 for a good ribbon mic, but you still want that really big sound, then the Royer R10 is a perfect microphone. It's more budget conscious, but you still get a really good sound and you get all the quality that Royer's known for. And I've had mine for several months at least now, and it sounds awesome, and I never feel like, even though I have a 121, that it's a step down in any way. It sounds really freaking good. So I hope you get it, and if you do, let me know what you think of it when you get it. Well, that about does it for this episode. Thank you so much for all the questions and comments. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys are enjoying these riffs and responses videos as much as I enjoy making them. And if you want your questions or comments featured in my next video, feel free to post them here, and I will keep track of them throughout the week. And I will do my best to answer as many as I can for you. Well, to all my subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys more than I can say. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And click that bell so that you can get notified every time I go live or come out with a new episode. Well, I got a lot of great stuff coming up, and I'll see you on the next one.